Let us get an overview of DDL statements which are typically used to create database objects such as tables. DDL stands for Data Definition Language. We execute DDL statements less frequently as part of the application development process compared to DML or DQL. Typically, DDL scripts are maintained separately than the application code. Following are some of the common DDL tasks: creating tables which are nothing but independent objects, creating indexes for performance typically dependent on tables, adding constraints to existing tables. Already we have seen this create table command which we have used earlier. We will try to get into understanding some of the aspects with respect to this command. These are some of the less common DDL tasks: adding columns to existing tables, dropping columns from existing tables, changing data types of existing columns. While creating tables in RDBMS databases, we should specify data types for the columns. If you look at the create table command which we have used earlier, user ID is defined as serial. Serial is nothing but integer which is populated by a special database object called as sequence. It is typically used for surrogate primary key. What is a surrogate primary key and all those things will be taught as part of the RDBMS subject in our college. If you are not from computer science background, you might have to go through some of the RDBMS concepts separately. If you are familiar with RDBMS concepts, you should be able to understand what surrogate primary key means. Varchar with length is used to define columns such as name, email ID, etc. Boolean is used to store true and false values. Here you can see that user email validated is defined as boolean type. Also isActive is defined as boolean type. We can also use date or timestamp to store date or time respectively. We can specify default values, not null constraints, as well as check constraints to the columns while creating table or adding columns using alter table. Here you can see that the default value specified for user email validated, the default is false. User role, the default is you. Created date, the default is current date. Last updated timestamp, the default is current timestamp. Also, you can see that some of the columns are specified as not null, which means we cannot store null values in those columns. Those are nothing but first name, last name, email ID, etc. On top of these things, we can also add constraints such as check constraints to these tables using alter table command, or even while creating the table itself, we can include the check constraints here. If we have multiple tables, we also have something called as foreign key constraints. When we have relationship between one to many, we need to explore those things as we get into some advanced concepts. For now, just to get into performing database operations, one table is enough. With one table, foreign key constraints are not typically used. That being said, let me actually load the SQL magic command in my Jupyter Hub environment. You can use either SQL Alchemy or pSQL if you are comfortable with them. And then I am setting the database URL using env command, dropping the existing users table, recreating it. The table is created. You can actually validate the columns related to this table by querying something called as columns as part of the information schema. This is a metadata table which will store the details with respect to the columns of a table. In some databases, it is also called as data dictionary tables or views. You can see that I am actually querying all the columns for table users ordered by ordinal position, which is nothing but the position using which we have defined the columns. Let me run this and you should be able to see the details. We have 9 columns in this. Now if you want to add one more column, this table doesn't have last updated timestamp. If I want to add, I can use alter table command like this to add last updated timestamp with the timestamp type with the default current timestamp. This will take care of adding the additional column. You can validate the columns information schema view to see the additional column added. You can also see the default value for that. You can also add check constraint like this. Also, user email ID is supposed to be unique and we haven't defined it as unique while creating the table. Only user ID is defined as primary key, which is not null as well as unique. If I want to specify user email ID as unique, I can use alter table command like this and I should be able to add unique constraint on user email ID. This is how you should be able to perform DDL operations, not only to create tables but also to alter tables for different purposes. As we get into the advanced topics related to application development, we might see some of these aspects at a later point in time in different courses and modules. For now, this is good enough to get into the performing basic database operations in Postgres or any database.